The Deshaun Watson rumor, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Jay Glazer had hinted at the fact that maybe the Texans are softening on what they want in return for Deshaun Watson. Maybe this is something that the Texans are looking at now and saying, all right, well, maybe we need to make a move on something. And then yesterday, Glazer followed it up with a tweet that said, "Keep an eye on this thing. That something could be happening. Just keep an eye on the situation."
Which means something's going to happen.
Yes,
something's
and
going to happen.
You did the draft with Jay Glazer.
Everything he said, bro.
He doesn't come straight out and say it often, but he will tiptoe around the subject, and then when it happens, he'll say, "This is what I've been hearing," and I believe.
Can I give you the translation?
Yes,
it's what he's been told.
Okay, and
when this is what I'm hearing, it's what he's been told. He's generally not wrong. He's generally not wrong.
And I think the reason why he's so accurate is because he doesn't run with everything. The fact that he's even going public with this, Brady, I think this tells me that we could be on the verge of Deshaun Watson getting dealt.
Okay, so the next question then becomes, if
wonderful.
he is getting dealt,
here we go.
Where's he being dealt? Because, we could have thrown out a few teams to begin before the season started, and I think we all been like, yeah, I could see that, or I could see that, right? Like Carolina. Carolina was a team that before the season got started, you would have said, well, Deshaun Watson's an upgrade over Sam Darnold, and you could still make that case. And their owner, David Tepper, we know he's aggressive. Like, he went after Matt Rule. He's paying him a boatload of money. They've been aggressive with how they've gone about the draft and bringing in other pieces, but they're 3-0.
Yeah.
Darnold's playing pretty good right now. Like, I don't know that that's a team that's looking at their quarterback spot going, it'd be an upgrade, but is it going to be better than the guy we got right now? He's kind of balling, and we've got a lot of other pieces there. Do we want to bring that into this organization? There's a lot of baggage there. So I don't know that Carolina maybe feels the same way they did before week 1. But there are 2 teams that I'm going to throw out there, okay? Or actually, I'll throw out 3. Obviously, Miami's in the mix. I think we'd all agree on that, right?
Yes.
100%.
Okay. Philly, though. Philly might be a team that we look at and go, after week 1, we would have said, yeah, no way. They blow them out of Atlanta 32-6. Jalen Hurts balls, 3 touchdowns, no picks, right? But after the last 2 weeks now and 2 losses, and you know how Howie Roseman rolls there. He's aggressive too. He'll make a move like that. They've got the draft capital. They've got the cap space. Philly's an interesting one to keep an eye on. And then I would go a step further and say, what about the New York Giants? Like, big market. I don't know if they can absorb all that baggage that he's bringing, but 0-3 football team, much more, I think, a more athletic, a better quarterback than what we've seen from Daniel Jones. Because the way this is going right now, either the Giants are going to be looking for their next quarterback in next year's draft or the offseason. So why not try to get a guy like Watson, roll the dice there?
And the Giants make some sense because you need a little desperation, right? Because you're going to take a PR hit. Because even if half of the rumors are true or half of these reports are true, I mean, he comes off looking pretty bad in this whole situation. So,
but that has to be the third question. You know what I mean? Like, or third conversational point to all of this. It's like, okay, is it going to happen? If it happens, where is it going to happen? I like that. But you got to ask the question, what happens once that trade takes place? What is Deshaun Watson's availability going to be moving forward? That has to be that has to turn into the biggest question because of how much you're going to have to give up to get him. That's got to be the biggest next question on the list.
Then the answer to that, I think, would be it's going to be a team. If that's the case and there's a team that's not going to make a move because they feel like, well, there's a chance maybe he's not going to be able to play this year, then it's got to be somebody who's got enough wiggle room within the organization or that's at least going to be there, you would think, for a foreseeable future. So the Giants maybe don't make sense.
That might be you creating a foreseeable future. Like, think about it. When we said who's on the hot seat for coaches yesterday, who did I say? Joe Judge. Yeah. All right. When we talked about Joe Judge being on the hot seat, what's the first name you gave, Brady? Gettleman.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 2 guys that potentially are on their way out. So if I'm the Giants, I say, hell, Daniel Jones, Gettleman, you did this. Daniel Jones, we're going to ride it out with him. But basically what we're saying is we got Saquon Barkley. Saquon's still pulling through from and getting back from what his injury would be. You got to fix up your offensive line. We have some things that we've done well, but we haven't done well enough, and we still need pieces. We get through this season. You're basically saying we're punting on the season if you get this trade done. But you've essentially given yourself more runway to land this plane or take off, so to speak, if you get a trade like Deshaun Watson, because that says, Daniel, you can play the rest of this season, but you better be motivated to play because you're out of here.
Right.
You're out of here. So get your value up as much as you possibly can the rest of the way. Don't be out here pouting. Don't be acting funny and strange. You throw that goddamn ball and you get this thing off the ground the way that you need to so that we can send you out of here on the right note.
Let me ask you this, though. Do you worry about the value once you're kind of already done with it, right? Like, I feel like we've all had a car that we maybe really liked when we got it, and then 3 years after that time or point in time, right, we were like, all right, I'm ready for something else. And I really don't – it's a depreciating asset. We know that.
Yep.
I don't really care what it ends up being worth now. Obviously, I want to get as good of a deal as I can, but I'm looking more forward to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of feel like in this case, you know, it'll be interesting to see the Giants from what they would be willing to give up and how they'd want to maneuver this. But I kind of threw it out there. I feel like from knowing that, you know, the Mara family, and you obviously had been there, LaVar, so you could speak to this. That is a very proud, traditional, I would say rigid organization. Is that a fair way to put? Like, I don't think they want to bring in someone that has this sort of baggage. That's I think the biggest thing. Right?
I think they would be prepared for it. I think that the Mara and Tisch family are fine people, very, very
classy.
Fine people. Yes,
classy.
And I think that if they were to take a chance, it would be based off of grace, the value of being able to redeem yourself. But make no mistake about it, if it came out that he was like they're able to prosecute this and this is heading towards not looking good for what he's got going on, they will distance themselves from it. And they will position themselves where it's like we're going to give them an opportunity until we know more about what's going on.
Can I tell you what I would do if I was one of these teams we named, you know, Philly, Miami, New York Giants? If I was Philly, I would offer my first 4 picks in next year's draft. All right, they got 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. And I would put contingencies in there on 2 of them. I would say the second first-round pick that's from the Dolphins, if he can't play next year in 2022, all right, that one's coming back to me. All right, and the second-round pick they got from the Colts trade with Carson Wentz that could become a first-round pick, okay, that one too, I'm saying same thing. He can't play in 2022 due to legal issues or beyond. That one comes back to me too. And I basically just say, here's your best offer. Show me someone who's going to offer you better than that before the trade deadline. Otherwise, I'm rolling with Jalen Hurts. But that's the offer if I'm Howie Roseman that I make, which could turn out to be 2 1s and 2 2s, which is significant because they said they wanted 3 1s, and I don't think they're going to get it with this baggage. But Philly literally in 1 year's time could supply something to the Houston Texans that they could have, not an immediate rebuild, but you're talking about if everything worked out the way they thought, the ability to be able to have all those draft picks, which would be significant.